Let's say you're in an encounter and you're having a really hard time hitting a creature. Maybe they're just too high level. Maybe you're just having bad luck, but there are things that you can do in order to give yourself an advantage. And one of those things is the trained deception skill, Feint. Feint can give you off guard against an opponent at least till the end of your turn if you succeed. And if you critically succeed, then you're going to get that off guard until your next turn, giving you that advantage the whole entire time. It's a really good skill to use, once again, if you are trained in deception, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. So my name is Don. I'm trying to be the sly strategist, and let's go ahead and get into it. So feint is one of those actions that you try to do where you're trying to mislead or deceive your opponent. And because of that, you do have to ensure that you are trained in deception in order to even be able to use feint. With that being said, let's go ahead and kind of read through what feint is, and then we'll take it into Foundry and we'll try to see it in practice. So feint is a single action and it does have the mental trait, so make sure you're paying attention to what the traits are. The requirements are you are within melee reach of the target you are attempting to feint. With a misleading flourish, you leave an opponent unprepared for your next real attack. You are going to attempt a deception check against your target's perception DC. Now, on a critical success, you throw your enemy's defenses against you entirely off, and the target is off guard against melee attacks that you attempt against it until the end of your next turn. On a success, your foe is fooled, but only momentarily. The target is off guard against the next melee attack that you attempt against it before the end of your current turn. Now, a critical failure, your feint is going to backfire. You are off guard against melee attacks the target attempts against you until the end of your next turn. There is no real fail condition aside from the fact that you just fail and it doesn't work. Now that we've kind of described a little bit about what feint is and read it from the book, let's go ahead and take it into Foundry and see how it actually plays out. So in this particular example, you'll see our party is up against 2 hobgoblin archers and 2 hobgoblin soldiers. Now, there are 3 things that I'm going to point out. The first thing is that the hobgoblin soldiers do have the reactive strike or pre-remaster called the attack of opportunity, but they do not have an immunity to mental traits. And both Crag and Emily are trained in deception, but one thing about Emily is that Emily does have the distracting feint class feat. So Crag starts our combat, so we'll go ahead and have him step forwards. He will target the hobgoblin soldier and attempt a feint against it. Now you'll see that Crag needs to attempt a deception check against the target's perception DC, so we'll roll that. And Crag got a critical success. Because of the critical success, you throw your enemy's defenses against you entirely off. The target is off guard against melee attacks that you attempt against it until the end of your next turn. So we can go ahead and drag off guard onto the creature. Now the creature is off guard to Crag specifically, so we can go ahead and try a strike. Crag hasn't done anything with the attack trait, so we can go ahead and try it at plus 16. And Crag gets a critical hit, and we go ahead and start doing the damage for that, which wound up being a big hit. And that creature is down. It's Emily's turn, so Emily is going to do largely the same. Emily is going to step forward, target the hobgoblin soldier, and attempt a feint against it. So once again, attempting a deception check against the target's perception DC. And Emily got a success. Because of the success, the target is off guard against the next melee attack that you attempt against it before the end of your current turn. So we can go ahead and drag off guard on there. But because of the distracting feint feat, we can go ahead and drag that on as well. With the distracting feint, while a creature is off guard by your feint, it also takes a -2 circumstance penalty to perception checks and reflex saves. So that kind of gives Emily just a little bit extra. Then Emily can go ahead and attempt their strike. Once again, nothing with the attack trait was done, so we can go ahead and not worry about map. And they also get a critical hit, and we can work on damage for that. Now, there is one thing to pay attention to when you're in combat, and that is the immunity to the mental trait, because this does have the mental trait attached to it. Now, I have done that and had to redo the video, so we'll go ahead and bring this up, and this skeletal giant does have an immunity to mental, so a feint would not work against them. As you can see, feint can really help a character out when you're trying to kind of get to a creature that you're having a hard time with, or you just want to make it easier for yourself, or you want to increase the chances of you getting a critical success on one of your hits. It is super useful, but remember, you do have to be trained in deception in order to use it. Now, I do hope you did enjoy this playthrough. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, or hit that notification bell. But whatever you do, I hope you have a great day and happy adventuring. Thanks.